after them. 2 days to the mountains? Ballista asked. Turpio shrugged eloquently. The horses, the enemy, and the gods willing. Ballista nodded. He raised himself up using the front and rear horns of the saddle. He looked both ways along the line. He had his party's undivided attention. The reptiles are after us. There are a lot of them. But there is no reason to think they can catch us. They are 5 miles or more behind. 2 days and we are safe in the mountains. Ballista felt as much as saw the unspoken objections of Turpio and the 2 Arabs. He stopped them with a cold glance. 2 days and we are safe, he repeated. He looked up and down the line. No one else said anything. With studied calm, Ballista walked his horse slowly to the head of the line. He raised his hand and signaled them to ride on. They moved easily into a canter. Behind them the sun rose over the horizon. Every slight rise in the desert was gilded, every tiny depression a pool of inky black. As they rode, their shadows flickered far out in front, as if in a futile attempt to outrun them. The small column had not gone far when a bad thing happened. There was a shout, abruptly cut off, then a terrible crash. Ballista swung round in the saddle. A trooper and his mount were down, a thrashing tangle of limbs and equipment. The man rolled to one side, the horse came to a halt. The soldier pulled himself onto his hands and knees, still holding his head. The horse tried to rise. It fell back with an almost human cry of pain. Its near foreleg was broken. Forcing himself not to check the dust cloud of their pursuers, Ballista rattled out some orders. He jumped down from his mount. As endurance was at issue, it was vital to take the weight off his horse's back at every opportunity. Maximus, the Hibernian slave who had been Ballista's bodyguard for the last 15 years, tenderly coaxed the horse to its feet. He talked to it softly in the language of his native island as he unsaddled it and led it off the path. It went with him trustingly, hopping pathetically on its 3 sound legs. Ballista turned his eyes away to where his body servant Calgacus was removing the load from the one pack-horse. The elderly Caledonian had been enslaved by Ballista's father. Since Ballista's childhood in the northern forests, Calgacus had been at his side. Now, with a peevish expression on his ill-favored face, the Caledonian redistributed as much of the provisions as he could among the riders. Muttering under his breath, he placed what could not be accommodated in a neat pile. He regarded it appraisingly for a moment, then pulled up his tunic, pushed down his trousers, and urinated copiously all over the abandoned foodstuffs. "I hope the Sassanid fuckers enjoy it," he announced. Despite their extreme fatigue and fear, or maybe because of it, several men laughed. Maximus walked back looking clean and composed. He picked up the military saddle and slung it over the back of the pack-horse, carefully tightening the girths. Ballista went over to the fallen trooper. He was sitting up. The slave boy Demetrius was mopping a cut on the man's forehead. Ballista began to wonder if his young Greek secretary would have been so solicitous if the soldier had not been so good-looking, before, annoyed with himself, he closed that line of thought. Together, Ballista and Demetrius got the trooper back on his feet. "Really, I am fine." Then up onto the former pack-horse. Ballista and the others remounted. This time he could not resist looking for the enemy dust. It was appreciably closer. Ballista made the signal, and they moved out past where the cavalry horse lay. On top of the spreading pool of dark red arterial blood was a foam of light pink caused by the animal's desperate attempts to breathe through a severed windpipe. For the most part they cantered, a fast ground-covering canter. When the horses were blown, Ballista would call out an order and they would dismount, give their mounts a drink, not too much, and let them have a handful of food, bread soaked in watered wine. Then they would walk, leading rein in hand, until the horses had something of their wind back and the riders could climb wearily back into the saddle. With endless repetition, the day wore on. They were traveling as fast as they could, pushing the horses to the edge of their stamina, at constant risk of fatigue-induced accident. Yet every time they looked, the dust of their unseen enemy was a little closer. During one of the spells on foot, Bathsheba walked her horse up along